So it's a very likely possibility that the stories that I keep reiterating are irrelevant, and I understand because people have their own lives and they're caught up in their and this kind of stuff comes and goes and they never hear about it. It doesn't apply. But the reason I bring it up is because of parallels. There are parallels, going on with narrative. I could fuck with narrative because I tend to fucking remember stories that go along with previous narratives when they flip flopped or when they were posturing behind something trying emblematic or something, or they were they want to use your position because it's expeditious, right? So that's why I bring up some stories. It's not because I want to go in on on these identity politic issues. And that's the thing, is like when I'm trying to get something out, like I could feel like people are, what are you gonna say? Oh, getting ready to get deflective and everything, and they won't get the information because they'll be too busy talking shit, rationalizing and talking shit. Like this just happened. Like I know I said, like when I say like my mother is not really my mother, is because she's unconsciously or unwittingly subverting the will, and she has handlers, and on that side of things, she goes and constantly drives out to see my sister and doesn't invite me. My sister is employed by Tom Sayer or whatever his name is, and fucking after the perfect list, the MAGA bomber, he makes the list. All the people are the people that you would expect to have gotten a bomb, and then there's this guy, and then you know that there is something fishy about that story. So if that story is fake, or the story is bogus, then my sister, being an event planner for these elite Democrats and Hillary Clinton, has unwittingly or unknowingly planned some sort of, because they have parties that lead to other events that follow up with other events, and then sooner or later there's going to be these like little compromising situations. She may not be aware of it or anything like that, but basically, like I could see why somebody would pick up an Oxycontin, no, not Oxycontin, hydrocodone, different, opiates, whatever, right? I could see why people would start fucking around with those, and why any advice how not to destroy your organs with acetaminophen might actually be bad for the person, because the acetaminophen was put in there to make you sick so you didn't OD in the first place. But the problem is that when you're taking a fat horse pill, that you're destroying your organs. So I'm like, damn, like, so I tried to relate this to my mother, because she want to act like she don't see shit and everything, and she still thinks that these people are a good influence, because anytime that I bust out with anything that goes against the narrative, she gets all touchy and nervous, and then she wants to fucking what's it called, insinuate that I'm all of these terrible characteristics in a human being, and I need help and medicine, and to be dismissed, and all this, because she doesn't want to be my sister's mother anymore. Then you can understand why I could apply the same thing to me. If you don't know that you're the other person, you don't even have to be your sister. It doesn't have to be your sister. If it come down to her being around these people too long, then I'm and being culpable in some shit, since they give her their laptops and everything, where they try to skirt the fucking RICO act, then sooner or later I would have to take up the side of the people against my own family. So that's why I'm not kicking her, but like verbally kicking her, and then so she doesn't want to see what I see, so she's going to and at the same time, she's afraid of being successful, and she's afraid of being prosperous, because she's attached to this idea, the narrative of every man that she's ever had a relationship with is abusing her. Like, her first husband, her new husband, and now me, being verbally abusive, because fucking women, some women can ruin everything. I know. I don't say that just outright that women ruin everything. We had Shirley Chisholm, we have Cynthia McKinney. Those are women. Those are women that can do things, and I don't think that they ruin everything. But those are the minority, and plus nobody likes them anyway. Like a Cosmos September Rob. They don't like him because like, well, I get it. They don't like what they've heard so far, but what they've heard so far was complete bogus. Because if somebody is engages, somebody's in the Marine Corps, and the Marine Corps provides chapel services and mosque, then if they go back to, if they look past the fact that outside of the Marines, that he was not dealing with anything Islamic, and that he never said anything about the oppressor or crackers or anything like that. He was working with the money team. The money team, for the first time, only time that a multimedia company was looking to branch out towards some projects that had to do with well-being. If you just skim past all that, and you happen to notice that he was with Islam while he was in the Marines, then you're besmirching the Marine Corps for fucking providing mosque services for the fucking convenient factor and this bullshit. Just for the convenience factor. That's not fucking enough evidence, and that evidence right there, if you can call it that, is a backbiter. It's a backbiter. Whoever is who's privy enough and also scandalous enough to use that to explain, like why he is murderous. Killing people and murdering people is two different things. And if you have this problem of somebody motivated toward well-being and sending a positive message to the people that you never thought had a gun, until he had to refuse to agree to be molested, step out of his car, and get kidnapped, then that's a big fucking problem. Dealing with your processability and whether or not you're conscious. You're not. It's impossible. You couldn't be conscious, except I have to make a concession for the fact that it might not be for you. Like, this might not be relevant to you. So they're putting these things in front of you. If they're not relevant, making them relevant to you, but based on the emotional value or the call to moral outcry on bullshit. They always seem to employ or implore you to express moral outcry. So after I made the videos about that, then they I think they figured that this was an area that of contentious enough that might make a rift, and people might be some kind of tribal warfare going on. And of course they're gonna be positioned to benefit from all that anyway. So just let it go. I can't be mad at them, because they're doing what they have to do, divide and conquer. Fucking they're just trying to destroy and dispatch their enemies, the same way that people finding out that they have new enemies will be interested in doing this, returning the fucking the sentiment, So they're like I made a video, they play off the emotion, they come up with another story, and it's people like me and people on Instagram that these focus groups and people, they pull together and come up with these fucking projects that they're going to perpetrate, basically sponsoring the news. I've been sick of it for a long time. It's no biggie for me. I'm not destroyed by it anymore, because it's no point in fomenting rage. I've already been enraged by it. Now it's just time to just try to eloquently or adequately relate the circumstances that I find myself living up under, and that's for me, you know.